What's up, guys? And Navajero here. Really excited to show you guys and give you my thoughts about this new knife that was sent in by Tacray. This is the Tacray Tarcus, and I have been really enjoying this knife. I was really surprised by it. And let me get into it as far as like the dimensions and stuff real quick. So overall, we have from tip to butt 8 inches. We have a 3.5 inch blade and a 4.5 inch handle. I love that. I love when things are just even numbers like that. This thing is super lightweight, coming in at 2.7 ounces. And G10 with a carbon fiber overlay. It looks like they're coming out with more colors. And as always, I will have an affiliate link for this, guys, if you guys want to go ahead and check it out on Amazon. And I'll show you guys the colors right here that they're coming out with. And yeah, this is a really, really good deal as far as like a budget knife that is super slicey. I believe this one's only coming in right now at about just under 25 bucks, like $24.96. They might have it on sale, I'm not sure. But it's really good for the price. D2 steel on here. Super thin blade stock. I mean, really thin blade stock. And one thing I wanted to clarify is I believe this is a PVD coating. It says, I think, on the actual listing on Amazon that this is a DLC coating, but if you check the video that's on the listing for Amazon, you'll see that they specify this is a PVD coating, and for the price, I imagine that's what it is. So this is I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is PVD and not DLC, okay? So I know some people had been asking. Other than that, D2 PVD coating, like I said, and it's really, really good. This D2 is ground nice and flat. I absolutely love this blade shape, canting down right here with the tip, kind of a reverse Tonto, Warncliffey with just a slight bit of belly. That is really good actually for like even food prep, or if you want to go ahead and do like utility cuts. It's really easy to get that tip in and just make and do your cuts. So I've been really enjoying this at work. This thing is a laser beam through cardboard, goes through it with such ease. The G10 slash carbon fiber-ish scales right here, really cool. I actually kind of like the look of this right here. Sometimes, carbon fiber overlays can look a little bit weird, a little bit, like, fake, or too fake at least. And this one I think is kind of subtle. I think it's pretty cool. The black on black, it's not screaming out, carbon fiber. So I think it's pretty cool. Pocket clip inset with inset screws, so it rides fairly deep in pocket, or really deep actually. So that's cool. Tacray on there. Kind of don't like that. Wish they would have just left it black, but they want to get their name out there, so that's fine. Handles are pretty ergonomic. I mean, it feels really good in hand. These are flat scales, so you're not going to have any contouring or anything. It's not going to feel like, melting in your hand or anything like that, but it feels really good. I like the little step right here that they have, so you can put your index and go kind of choke up next to that blade. And if you check there as well, I really like the sharpening choil. So you got good life right there to sharpen. Not sure if you guys can see that. Let me try and zoom in a bit. So yeah, right there is where it ends, the plunge, and yeah, you got good life on there. And again, the thinness of this is ridiculous. I'd almost say if you're checking this as your first knife, maybe look at something else, just because this is so thin that I could see you going through a cut, and if you even touch this blade, it'll cut you. So more so for people that have knives already, because this thing is very, very thin. Kind of comparing it maybe even to another thin knife, the Cubit. I'd say maybe it's similar to that blade stock, if not very close, or maybe even thinner. You guys can see right there, but yeah, it's very, very thin. Another thing is I actually really enjoy the crossbar lock on this. I personally don't really care for crossbars as much. I do like them, but I kind of like the feeling of a detent, and this right here actually has the crossbar or access lock, whatever you want to call it, dialed in really well. So really easy to disengage it and to go ahead and reverse flick it. You can actually, you can thumb flick it fairly easy too off of that deployment hole, which I absolutely enjoy. And I've noticed that maybe some knives with crossbar locks with deployment holes, they don't have the best tension and it feels really mushy, but this one snaps out really well. So I actually really like the feeling of deploying this knife in particular. It's real fidgety, feels really nice. You can actually just actuate it with one finger or one thumb. So again, very easy to use that crossbar lock. Whatever Omega springs they're using is really good. And I think that it's dialed in quite well. Again, really fun to reverse flick it. Feels really good in hand. You can hardly feel that pocket clip, so it feels really good. I would have loved jimping on here. I think this knife is screaming for jimping. If they would have put jimping on here, I think it would have felt amazing in hand. Having a little bit of jimping to grip your finger, especially since this is like a PVD coating and quite slick and thin. I mean, you just want to go ahead and have a little bit of grip right there. So I think that's one thing I would have loved on this knife. I mean, other than that, the lightweightness of it is really good in pocket. You can hardly feel it, and that's a great thing, you know, especially if you want to go ahead and like EDC this, or if you want to have it at work. I wouldn't say this is like your typical hard use knife just because the blade stock is so thin. But if you have a job that requires a lot of utility cutting or any type of like maybe cutting through things that are, you know, thinner material, I mean, this is great. You're gonna freaking slice through it with such ease. Again, that tip and this right here, you know, to make your cuts. I mean, it's super, it glides through material. I really enjoyed it, you know, at work. Other than that, I thought it was really interesting. So this being a budget knife and for the price range, I think it's interesting that they gave you a partial liner in here, kind of like, you know, I don't want to say the bug out because I've never owned a bug out, but that is, you know, a reference that people know. So this has a partial liner in there. I'm not sure if you're able to see that. If you can see right there, there's the liner right there, and the rest of the handle is G10. So the lightweightness comes from that this is all G10, and maybe about 1/4 of the handle is that partial liner, and that's what's pretty much, you know, holding the locking mechanism. So you have a lot of weight reduction with that alone. So that's really cool. I mean, they definitely are hitting that market as far as like a lightweight utility knife. I always have a hard time saying utility, but yeah, I mean, I really think that this is a really good knife for the price. I mean, it's really good as far as like the action, the blade stock. I think maybe even when I first started collecting knives, this is exactly what I would have been looking for. Something slicey with a crossbar lock. I used to love the crossbar lock. But yeah, I think this would have been awesome for me. Other than that, again, the partial liners, I thought that was really interesting that they gave us that. And if you notice here, it has, I believe you call this like garage stops, these 2 pins right here. Those 2 pins are what engage right here the lock. I thought this was the stop pin originally, but it looks like these 2 pins right here, maybe there's something else also stopping it inside, makes for that lockup right there. And this lockup on this knife is dialed in really good. It has no up and down, no side to side. I mean, I can move it side to side, but only because it's such a thin blade. But other than that, I mean, the lockup is really good. I mean, whatever QC or whatever they're doing as far as like making sure that this lockup is good is perfect, because it's dialed in perfect. A lot of the times, you know, crossbar locks or access locks, they'll have movement, and that's normal. It doesn't. Sorry about that. My phone cut off. So yeah, like I said, it doesn't mean that it's going to be bad lockup or anything if there's movement, but you don't even have to even double think that with this one, because the lockup is so good. I also saw, I believe Lefty did a review of this, and his was also very good lockup and no movement. So to whatever Tacray is doing, they're doing a really good job with that. So yeah, all in all, really, really cool knife. I thought I wasn't gonna like it because of the overall dimensions, it being around 8 inches. So it's a pretty, you know, sizable knife. But because of the thinness of the handle and just the in general, like, dimensions and stuff, I mean, it fits perfect in my hands. So, you know, I have smaller to medium sized hands, and even if you have bigger hands, you'll definitely have enough space here in the handle to go ahead and, you know, be comfortable with it. So yeah, I really, really have been enjoying this one. I think for the price, this is very, very hard to beat. I've been finding so many good budget knives, you know, around the 30 and under, that it's crazy. So real quick, size dimensions, and I will get you guys out of here to go ahead and watch more of my videos or any other content creator. Here is the cubit. All right, so a bit bigger than the cubit, obviously. And then let's go ahead and put also the pyrite. Similar blades right here, so bigger than the pyrite. Let's go ahead and put, this is a Free Tiger crossbar lock also. So a bit bigger than the Free Tiger. This is the FT2103. And lastly, let's put it up against the Civivi Vision FG. And I think that's a pretty good size comparison. Very similar. Maybe the Civivi Vision is maybe a little bit bigger, just by a bit. But that's a good size comparison right there. So yeah, guys. Tacray Tarcus, really, really cool knife. I definitely recommend it. And again, I will have an affiliate link down below if you guys want to go ahead and check this out. So yeah, definitely one I can recommend. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing on my road to 1,500 subscribers. And I hope to catch you guys on the next one. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Later.